at the root of all of it, they weren't controlling their emotions.
Yeah.
Jesus! I'm sorry.
I was screaming.
Moses was frustrated. David was horny. Can we talk about it? Sarah was impatient. Can we talk about it? Saul was scared. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to Kingdom Prototype, the blueprint for abundant living. I'm your girl Lex.
I'm your girl Jazz.
And welcome back, beautiful people. All right, y'all. We still getting our weight up. Okay. Like, we just need to get... I got too much energy. I need to calm down.
We're going to be spiritually swole after a while.
I love it. We're going to be spiritually swole, okay? Because it is time for us to get our weight up in the spiritual fight, in the spiritual battle, in the kingdom of God. But before we can do that, okay, we like to, we like to buck, nuck and buck and shout and speak in tongue over, we getting our weight up, and we about to be spiritually strong, and God is preparing us to use us, and and we love to do all that stuff. But first we got to shed some stuff, and this is where we get quiet.
Right, because we don't want to give nothing up.
This is where we can hear crickets. Okay, this is where it's like, where all that energy go?
Facts. That's real though.
You're not keeping the same energy.
Right.
I'm screaming when we talk about shedding things. But even in our natural world, when we are working out and we're trying to get stronger and improve our muscle mass, maybe. That's what I'm going with. We first have to start shedding excess fat. Same with God. And so, one thing that we're going to shed. She had to take a deep breath. This was your episode, so.
I know. That's why I'm taking a deep breath, because I already know, like, this one thing that people don't want to shed.
Uh-huh.
And that's self-dependency. But
me, myself, God, that's what we like. Oh, we can't sing her. She a witch. Why you gotta be a witch, Beyonce?
Right.
You got so many good hits. I had to let go because you don't want to act right.
I'm being compromised.
Right. Golly. Sorry, I got mad.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dang, man. You made some great music.
Exactly. Sad. but yeah, we really have to shed self-dependency and start embracing submission, because when it comes to God, we have to submit. Like, we have to come to him literally like children and submit to his will, even when we don't agree with it, even when we don't understand it. We have to learn. He tells us not to lean on our own understanding, but in all our ways submit to him. So yeah, that's something that we have to shed.
One more time. In what our ways?
In all of our ways, submit to him.
One more time. In what our ways? I'm sorry.
In all of our ways, we have to submit to him.
But we like to cherry pick.
Exactly.
We like to only submit this area, that area, submit this, submit that. But then this, wait a minute, Holy Ghost, like, wait a minute, Jesus, that's mine. I like that.
Right, now you can't take that.
Right,
you doing too much. You can have this, but you can't take that.
Now all of a sudden he doing.
I'm still using that. I was still using that, Jesus.
Woo! That's real, so funny. That's real.
That's real. But yeah. So we have to shed self-dependency. But if we're being honest, we live in a world that glorifies being independent, being self-made, and getting it from the mud, and all of that. But when it comes to the kingdom of God, everything is, as we talked about before, everything is the opposite of this world. So while we may be independent in our natural lives, we still have to ultimately learn how to become dependent on God and submit to his will.
Yeah, very much so. Because he has all that we need. And like, we make it harder on ourselves. Can we talk about it? Mm-hmm. Like, we make it so much harder on ourselves because we choose to not submit to God. God is like, I'm a very present help.
Right.
If you will allow me to help you, but we be nope.
Right, I'm gonna figure it out on my own.
Right. I'm gonna be still.
Right, exactly.
We just trying to stroke our egos, and God is just like.
It's not funny. I think about this Bible scripture that where God was talking about. I think it's Jeremiah. Where God was talking about Israel, and how all day long he said he stretched his hands out to Israel or something like that, basically waiting for them to submit to him and to come to him. And what did he say? So basically, he said that people who he didn't even call are praising him more than Israel. But all day long, he's just there waiting with his hands stretched out and waiting for them to submit and come to him. And it's just the craziest thing, because it's like you said, I think you said we make it harder on ourselves when we try to do it our way instead of submitting to God. When he's literally standing there with his arms wide open, waiting for us to come to him and submit to him. But we're refusing to shed self-independency.
Yeah, very much so. Oh, that's so good. Or we think, okay, this is different for me. I'm sorry, this is real different for me. Okay, I'm not, okay, wow. So we don't want to shed our independency. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, we don't want to shed that word. And then sometimes for others, it could be we minimize. We think that we're burdening God. Because as you were talking, I was thinking about Jesus. My brain is moving fast. It's moving real fast. I need to slow down. As you were talking, I was thinking about Jesus. And somebody came up to Jesus and was basically like, Lord, if you're willing, if you want to, will you? And Jesus was like, of course. Yes, I want to.
Right.
I think sometimes for some of us, we may have a question of, oh, well, does God want to? Mm-hmm. Is he willing? And so we project that onto God. Oh, I don't want to be a burden. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be burdensome. So let me just go over here in my little corner and keep up with, and deal with this thing on my own.
That's great.
Different from me.
That's
how you know there is a God.
Yeah, that's really good actually, because I feel like a lot of it can come from pride, but also it can be, like you said, us people honestly thinking that God isn't willing to do something for them. Because it's several examples in the Bible where Jesus said, I am willing. Like I've never seen in the Bible where somebody asked Jesus to heal them or to, help them or something like that. He just refused to, heal them. So basically we can see that Jesus is willing. And I feel like oftentimes that could be us projecting our relationships in the natural world onto God, because we feel like we're a burden to other people in our lives. We treat God as the same way.
That's so good. And and we project our own insecurities, our own feelings of inferiority onto God. I'm not worthy for him. I'm not worthy enough for him to do this or for him to do that. This is not my portion. Healing is not my portion. Abundance is not my portion. Wealth is not my portion. Love is not my portion. Whatever the case may be. So then we also then project that onto God as well. So now I'm going to once again retreat back to my little corner.
Right.
And deal with all of this on my own, because I don't want to be burdensome. And I'm also questioning if I am even worthy enough to receive this from him.
That's really good. So let's talk about the problems because there's a lot of problems that come with being self-dependent or independent. So one of the main problems is we ultimately ignore God because we can't serve two masters.
Sure can.
So if we're refusing to submit to God, I mean we're serving ourselves or the enemy. And God tells us that we can't serve two masters. So the problem with that is it basically causes us to ignore God. And also in Romans, it talks about the importance of just submitting to God and not focusing so much on ourselves. So this is Romans chapter 8, and this is verses 5-8, the Message Bible. It says, focusing on the self is the opposite of focusing on God. Anyone completely absorbed in self ignores God, ends up thinking more about self than God. That person ignores who God is and what he is doing. And God isn't pleased at being ignored.
Ooh. Can I stop and go left just 1 second? And then we're going to come back. So for those of us who are dealing with anxiety, I'm going back to another episode. I'm sorry. For those of us who are dealing with all of this anxiety and oh my gosh, I'm just worrying about so much and what I'm going to eat and what I'm going to think and what I'm going to wear and what I'm going to dress.
Right.
We are ignoring God. We are doing the opposite of what the Bible tells us to do.
That's good.
And so then we wonder why we anxious. And we wondered why we stressed. We wondered why we're depressed. But we are focusing on us and we're not focusing on God. We're completely absorbed in self and we ignore God. I'm done. Go ahead.
And it also reminds me of James too, because James says if you're divided, don't expect to receive anything from God. He was more like, he said what he said.
He said what he said.
And so it's ultimately it comes down to us ignoring God. So we gotta learn how to submit, basically. Yeah. And it also can be, you was gonna say something?
I was just gonna say and acknowledge God, but go ahead.
Oh yeah.
You just don't acknowledge God.
Yeah, and definitely acknowledge God for sure. And I feel like it can also be a form of pride. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes we can feel like we know better than God. So so that can cause us to not submit because we think we have it all figured out. We think we have all the answers. We think we already seen this before. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we don't give God room to be God. You was gonna say something? I
thought my wheels are turning and I need them to stop.
Oh, we.
I feel that. That
the
is
real
so.
On the legs of mine goes round and round.
They do though. They really do. I mean, like, Lord. Oh my gosh. I'm screaming. What was I about to say? Yes, that's so good. So being a form of pride, we got all this figured out. We know better than God. We done seen it before. We done did it before. All of this jazz. And I'm curious if there could be another side of the pride as well. I don't know if I can articulate this. If that makes sense. If some of it can be an insecurity issue. I'm stuck on insecurity. I need to move. But I'm stuck on it. Whereas sometimes we want so badly to prove to ourselves that we can. I can do this. I can build this business into a 7-figure business. I can do this. I can do that. I can create this life. I can be self-made because it makes us feel as if we have accomplished something.
Right.
If that makes sense. So then that's why we are now depending on ourselves and we're having a hard time acknowledging the fact that actually everything you got came from God. Because it goes against I'm trying to feel something about myself. And me acknowledging that everything comes from God, like, it goes against what I'm trying to feel. I articulated that correctly.
You did. Now my wheel's turning.
See?
I'm weak. Because,
I like wheels turning.
Because Saul. So basically, I'll read this first and I'll say what I was going to say. So Saul basically relied on his own judgment after the war, when God told him basically, hey, this portion is mine, don't mess with that portion. And he basically ignored God. He spared the king, blase. And so basically, God rejected him as king, right? But as you were talking, you was talking about insecurity and how it could be us trying to convince ourselves that we can do something or trying to convince other people, whatever the case may be. I do remember somewhere in that passage where it talks about, I think Saul told, was it Samuel? Is that who it was? I think Saul.
Samuel was the prophet.
Yeah, Saul told Samuel. I think so. Basically, when Samuel confronted Saul, it was more so Saul trying to explain himself, saying he did it for the people, to make the people to appease the people. Basically, it was, so it just reminded me of that, because where on the surface it looks like pride and disobedience, which that's what it was as well, but it could also be, like you said, an insecurity where Saul's like, okay, now I'm the king, I gotta prove something, I gotta you know what I'm saying, so they can like me, so they can keep wanting me to be their king. And
so he was more concerned with the approval of men than the approval of God.
Exactly.
And it cost him everything.
The whole kingdom, where you trying to prove that you a good king and end up losing the kingdom.
How'd that work out? Apparently not too well. And it also even makes me think, while we on the topic of Saul, it also makes me think of that time where I don't remember where they were. I ain't read this part of the Bible in a minute, so be with me, Jesus. I don't remember where they were, but essentially Samuel said, wait on me, I'm gonna be back in 3 days. And he went wherever he went, and he didn't come back at the allotted time. And then so Saul, being okay, that's so good. So could some of our independence or our self-dependency be based off of emotion, fear? Oh my gosh, you ain't moving. Where you at? I need this. Oh dang, here we go. I I need, like, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay, I'm scared. Oh my gosh, I'm impatient. Yeah. Oh my gosh, now I'm gonna do this thing. Right. And then right after you do it, here comes Samuel.
Right. All right, let's do it. Right. I already done did it. I'm sorry. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. That's so good because it's easier for us to, because we have control. When we do it, we can control the timing. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for us, and it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable to know, you know, when we're in control, when we think we're in control.
That's so good.
Go ahead. It was okay. Well, it reminds me. Okay, it reminds me of Sarah and Abraham too. Where basically, you know, God made them a promise that He would give them the promised child, and Sarah was like, "Look, I'm getting old. You know, God hasn't come through for me yet. So I tell you what, go sleep with my servant Hagar." And so that's just an example of basically Sarah relied on her emotions because she felt like she was running out of time, and then she trusted in her own timeline over God's. Right. Yeah. So here's what got me. So as a result, Sarah as a result for me, Sarah dealt with, you know, tension with Hagar. They had some beef, and then, you know, she ended up sending Hagar away. But what really got me, I had to do a little research. I was like, yo, so the descendants of Isaac, of course, the Israelites, and the descendants of Ishmael, they've been beefing ever since, because I didn't know that they're the Muslims. So supposedly, or at least what I saw, the descendants of Ishmael is today's modern Muslims, and you know how hard they be beefing with Christians. So basically, what I'm getting at now is it's been this long war that didn't even have to be because of impatience, because of emotion, and where now you got Ishmael and Isaac descendants still fighting when it even have to be, all because we relied on our emotions and our own understanding and timeline.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is we need to get our emotions in check. Is essentially what I am hearing. Y'all, there are consequences. I don't know who keep telling us that there ain't no consequences to our actions. We could just go out here and make our own way and be our own God and just sin and do whatever the world we want to do. Ooh. And there's just no consequence.
Right.
Because in this case, there's consequences with Sarah and Abraham. Consequences with Saul. Consequences with David. Consequences with Moses. I can't
You get a consequence. You get a consequence. All because.
Oh my God. And at the root of all of it, they weren't controlling their emotions.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
I was screaming.
Moses was frustrated. David was horny. Can we talk about it? Sarah was impatient. Can we talk about it? Saul was scared. Can we talk about the run?
That's a whole revelation.
Literally. Like,
that's a sermon. They better get, like Auntie say, and you don't give me credit.
Right? Don't give me
that sermon. And you got to give me credit. That's real though.
That's so good. So at the root of our independency, maybe, and us doing things on our own, it's just our inability to control our own emotions.
That's good.
Our emotions are our God. Our emotions are our master. All right.
So once again, like we talked about in the previous conversation, we're leaving thoughts unchecked and just letting the thoughts and our emotions run rampant.
Yeah. We don't have basic skills. Okay, God. Am I supposed to go here? Oh, you must talk about that. We don't have basic skilds of like being able, I don't want to say a big word, like being able to regulate our emotions. We need to go in prayer and start asking God, help me to be able to regulate my emotions. Help me to come up with coping skills that I can use when I'm feeling horny. Can we talk about it? When I'm feeling scared, can we talk about it? When I'm feeling impatient, when I'm feeling these uncomfortable, we're not going to say bad. It's not the feelings, it's what we do with them. I'm ahead. It's not, our feelings aren't the issue. Feelings aren't bad. It's what we do with the feelings that gets us in trouble. So being angry is not bad. Punching Bobo in the face because you're angry.
Right.
That's the issue, boo-boo.
But that's so good because, just a side note, I feel like just in our African American Black folk community, let me, I forgot where I was for a minute. In our Black community,
Black folk,
you know, it's like a stigma attached to talking about emotions. At least in most families, I know I can speak for myself. Like you know, from the background that I come from, it's not really a thing to sit and just kind of talk about emotions, but it should be. And so basically what I'm getting at is it is important for us to learn how to that basic life skill, us how to regulate our emotions and express our emotions in a healthy way, instead of just like
following up, pushing it under the rug. And I wonder, I don't know, take this deep. I wonder if that is just generational from slavery. Because
so much stuff has come from slavery.
Yeah. Because right now, I got to do what I got to do to survive.
That's good.
So I don't got time. Because if I really sat here and felt these emotions, I'm going to kill this master.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be killed. And now I'm leaving my babies with...
That's good.
If I really felt these emotions, if I really allowed myself to sit in these things, oh my Jesus, what would happen? So I push them down. I don't talk about them. I just sweep them under the rug because I have to survive.
That's really good.
And now here we are generations later.
Still survival mode.
Yeah. And then we wonder why our relationships are jacked up. And then we and then we wonder why we're having all of these effects. But could it be it's because we don't deal with our emotions? We don't feel them. We don't know how to process them. We don't know how to cope. So we run to sex. So we run to drugs. So we run to alcohol. So I run to just being out with friends because I can't sit with me because I'm afraid of what comes in my mind when it's just me. This real. I see this. This real. Okay. I'm gonna stop.
That's good.
I'm gonna stop.
I was actually just on the phone with someone either yesterday or the day before. We were talking about somebody else and how it just seems like they're running from something. And it's the saddest thing. Like they're always on the go, always drinking and partying and traveling. It's just like, what are you running from? But again, they were not taught how to sit in their emotions and how to regulate their emotions and how to express their emotions in a healthy way. So yes, I think that's very relevant. Yeah. And it needs to be talked about more often.
Yeah. I'm sorry. A little bit therapy. Little bit therapy. just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because I'm hearing my supervisor when I was in my internship in undergrad. And how she would say this was in regards to panic attacks, but this could really be in regard to our emotions as well. As these emotions, they can't hurt me. They are just uncomfortable. So whatever you are feeling, it can't hurt you. You're not gonna die. Can we talk about it? You're not gonna have bruises unless so far that's another conversation. That's not what I'm referring to. But it can't hurt me. It's just uncomfortable. Right. And so we can reframe. Here we go. I'm sorry. If we can begin to reframe how we view emotions, what we think about them, our perspective of them, maybe then we can interact with them differently.
For sure.
I'm gonna stop. Go ahead.
Dang, I'm listening. You need to get going.
That's it.
Therapy in session. That's good. I guess for me, I just love the topic because I can personally relate to, and I'm sure a lot of us can, where it's just, you know, like you said, generationally, we just weren't taught how to channel those emotions and to regulate them. So I feel like so bringing it back to like biblical, it spews over to our relationship with God. I feel like it all ties in together because if we don't know how to control our emotions on everyday human interactions, how can we manage our emotions like in a relationship with God, because our emotions going to be all over the place.
That is so good. And the enemy exploits that. Because now we don't take God the emotions that we need to take him, because now we're feeling shame for being pissed off at God. Now we're feeling ashamed for being angry at God. Now we're feeling ashamed because he's God. I shouldn't talk to God like this. I shouldn't question God.
So we shut down, we isolate, we stop talking. Yeah, so it's all, listen.
That's disgusting. This is real talk. I promise y'all this is not written down. I promise y'all this is not written down.
Yeah, it's just wow. Yeah, that's like a whole series. That need to be an episode. But yeah, we have to we got to put them in their place. We got to put our emotions in their place, man. We've been letting them run our lives for too long.
Yeah, and we got to remember that feelings aren't facts.
That too.
That feelings aren't facts. So we need to go back in prayer. Y'all gonna get mad at me because I'm gonna always direct you back to your Bible and I'm gonna direct you to prayer. Okay, I don't know why we don't pray, but I'm sorry. Just I felt that way. Like every day too. See, okay, y'all about to say, oh, she doing the most. Okay, that's fine. Every day. We don't need to miss a day of prayer because the enemy ain't missing a day of attacking you. Can we talk about it? But I'm going to miss a day of prayer because I don't feel like it. Oh, I'm about to say, Negro, please.
I'm screaming.
Oh, caught that thing.
That's good, though.
I caught it. Jesus, praise your name because it was coming.
No, we capturing thoughts around here. We holding them captive.
Don't you say that. You right. Because, boy, that thing was slipping out. What was I saying?
Basically, getting our prayer life up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's where I was going. That's where I was going with that. And then I got distracted by us not praying. So getting our prayer life up and asking God to help us regulate our emotions. God, help me to move my emotions. Sometimes we just have emotions. We just let them sit on our shoulders. And we don't move them. We do nothing to move them. We just lay in bed all day. Y'all mad. We just sit on the couch and watch TV all day. Y'all mad. We scroll on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook all day. Okay, I'm done. That's a pet peeve of mine. That is a pet peeve of mine. Go ahead.
That's good. It reminds me of when I went to this event a couple weeks ago and the therapist was talking about how our emotions, our feelings are like clouds and we should let them just pass. Like,
thoughts are like clouds.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was screaming. I was there. Yeah, like our thoughts are like clouds, and just like clouds pass in the sky, like they're constantly moving, we should allow our thoughts to pass as well, and not, I guess, get so focused on one thought when we get like 60,000 thoughts or more. Auntie Val said like 1 million. I don't know. We get a lot of thoughts.
It's a lot of them
a day. So yeah, so just letting them pass, like you were talking about, and not putting so much focus on negative thoughts.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, you. Yes, it all goes back to we have a decision, y'all. I don't know if we realize the power that we truly do have. What's that scripture? I know it. Now unto him who is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we can ask or think, according to the power that works in. That works in us.
That's good.
And so oftentimes we okay, can we talk about it? Because I can hear it's not that simple. But it is. And so when you think that it's not that simple, how does that impact your feelings? Does it make you feel hopeless?
Right.
Unmotivated? Does it make you feel even more down? Even more sad? I got a question. And then how does that impact your actions? Thoughts, feelings, actions, interconnected. Y'all in therapy. It's okay. So now I might not even try.
Yeah.
Now I might put a half effort. A half effort in. Because I'm telling myself in a thought that it's not that simple. But how would things change if I were to reframe that thought?
Change a whole lot. Change your life.
And I was to have a more productive thought. Even if it's God will help me. What's the tone of that thought?
Yeah, because even if you have a thought like it's not that simple, but God will help me, that's still, yeah.
And so now that's having a different impact on your feelings and a different impact on your actions. All because of your thinking. And you have the power to decide to either ruminate on it ain't that simple or to ruminate on God's gonna help me. You got the power to do that. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It does.
All right. Could I be simplifying stuff? I have a client, she be taking me out. She'd be like, I guess it is that simple. She asked me, I'll never forget. She asked me, she was basically just kind of like, so, like, people come and they just dump on you. I'm like, yes, they do. But it's my job. It's like, people just come and they just dump on you and da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. How do you tend to, like, how? And I kept it a buck. I was like, I pray. I rely heavily on God.
Right.
In my everyday life. I just rely heavily on God. She said, you know what? It is that simple. It really is.
It really is. And we like to complicate things. That's the problem.
Literally. Bro, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop talking. We have the Bible tells us exactly what to do.
Right.
Like, I don't understand.
That's good. But I think when we read the Bible, here go that thought, but it's not that simple. Because we're looking at our circumstances. We're looking at our money. We're looking at our job that we hate. You know what I'm saying? So instead of us reading what God has said, here go that thought, like, but it's not that simple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
we go into our prayer time already rejecting what God has.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. Because that's self-fulfilling prophecy. But I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop. And then we walk in life and say, see, told you so.
Yeah.
But that's just, okay, I'm going to stop.
Just be out here circular reasoning and driving ourselves crazy.
Yeah. And really, it's just self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm telling myself that God's stuff ain't going to work. God's Bible. And so then I approach him half-heartedly. I'm already rejecting him in my heart. And then when I show up in everyday life and something doesn't come to fruition, see? I told you.
Told you this God thing ain't work. That's why yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. Go look it up. Y'all just got some free therapy. You are welcome. Like, all right, I'm going to stop.
That's all I got.
That's all I got too.
All right.
So don't forget to like, comment. I'm screaming. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Guys, you have power over your mind and over your thoughts. You just have to make a decision. I can't let that go. You just have to make a decision that, you know what? I want to do better. I'm going to decide to do better in my thoughts. And I'm going to ask God to help me. But we got power. And we have to hold ourselves accountable. I'm going to stop talking.
And we have to come open. Like, we have we have to be open as well. Because like you said, sometimes we come with like a hard heart and just already rejecting God. So anything that he says is just, it's going to go in one ear and not the other. Because we already closed-hearted or closed-minded.
Yeah. Literally. And so I ask again, how well is, whatever you're doing, how well has that been working for you? I get crickets usually when I ask.
I bet.
Or I get a, not well, okay then. And so if we want some different results, we are going to have to start doing some things differently. Period. So once again, the choice is yours. Why are we still here? Stop talking. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and to share. If any of you guys are feeling stuck, stagnant in your relationship with God, click the link down in the description and grab your free copy of 5 ways to deepen your relationship with God, where we're going to walk you through 5 habits that's going to help you to draw closer to God. Because as you draw near to him, he will draw near to you. And you'll no longer be stuck and stagnant, but you'll be allowing God to ignite that fire and that passion for him down on the inside of you. So click the link down below and get your free copy. I'm gonna stop talking. We out.